I feel very honored and equally I feel humbled that this opportunity has been given to me. I thank the entire House and seek your indulgence if I come up with some thoughts which I'd like to share, which any member could have a difference of opinion. But I start again by paying homage to all the 389 members of the Constituent Assembly. In particular, the 15 women who, in less than 3 years together, took up the arduous challenge and prepared in a very challenging environment the Constitution for India, and which has stood the test of time. Until today, we are extremely proud of the way India's democracy is growing. As we mark the 75th year of our Constitution, sir, it is time, I would think, to reaffirm our commitment to build India, that is Bharat, that shall uphold the spirit enshrined in this sacred document. So with those words, I get into telling about the journey that these 75 years have seen of our Indian Constitution, and also to say why India's Constitution and India today stands out in a very separate league of its own. Sir, let me just remind, and I'm sure very many members of this House will know, that post-Second World War, nearly 50 countries, in fact over 50 countries, had become independent and they had their constitution written, but many have changed their constitutions, not just amended them, but literally changed the entire feature of their constitution. But our constitution has stood the test of time, of course yielded itself to very many amendments, and here therefore I would like to have a few words of what Constitution India expert Dr. Subhash Kashyap had to say. While many constitutions of nations framed after the Second World War have floundered and gone into oblivion, our Constitution successfully faced many crises and survived. This itself is evidence of its resilience, dynamism, and growth potential. Now, India's experience has shown that our Constitution remains robust, yielding to several amendments, as I said, which were the need of the hour. And Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, the chairman of the drafting committee, had said, and I quote, "I feel, however good a constitution may be, it is sure to turn out bad because those who are called to work it happen to be a bad lot. However bad a constitution may be, it may turn out to be good if those who are called to work it happen to be a good lot." Unquote. These are words of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, sir. And in this background, therefore, with those words right afresh in our mind, I'd like to discuss about how in the last 7 decades, the living document that our Constitution is, has faced very many amendments. And while looking at those amendments, I'd like to have a touchstone of 4 different elements. One, has the social intent behind any amendment been genuine? And therefore the outcome has been genuine? That's one test I would like to place any amendment on the testing board. Second, I'd like to see if the economic intent and the economic outcome of any constitutional amendment has actually been bona fide and has the outcome help the society at large. Third, I'd like to test it on the ground of process adopted for it, for the amendment itself. And fourth, the constitutional spirit behind such an amendment. Now, if an amendment can go through these kind of tests, we'll be able to see why India's constitution, going by the words of Dr. Ambedkar, if you had good people who are called to work on it, give good outcomes. If you have, I'm using Ambedkar's words, bad people who are brought to work on it happen to give such outcomes which are discussed. So if I move to talking about those amendments which have gone through these four tests, we'll be able to see how the intent and the outcome are justifiable and people in the history books do write about them. Sequentially, because it is the first ever amendment, I'd like to take about the first Constitutional Amendment Act of 1951. So it's been said, and Honorable Prime Minister, while talking in the Lok Sabha, also referred to the fact that there was an interim government in place between 1947, August 15th. The interim government was there before that as well. And it lasted till 17th April 1952, post which an elected government took over the charge. But during 1951, when the amendment for the first Constitutional Amendment Act was passed, it was an interim government and not elected government of India post 1947. Now, this was enacted, therefore, within a year of the commencement of the Constitution. It's worth remembering. In fact, on the issues related to the amendment, or which triggered the amendment itself, which is the freedom of speech and expression, the amendment added 3 more heads to Article 19(2), saying public order could be a cause to restrict freedom of speech, friendly relations with foreign states could be a cause to restrict freedom of speech, or incitement to an offense could also be a cause. These were the amendments brought in the first Constitutional Amendment. So the Supreme Court of India, even in 1950, 1 year before this amendment, had passed 2 landmark judgments that paved the way for freedom of press under Article 19(1)(a). The Supreme Court had ruled in favor of the communist magazine.
तो आप साफ तौर से तस्वीरें देख रहे थे जहां पर कि निर्मला सीतारमन, जो कि वित्त मंत्री हैं, वो संविधान पर चर्चा करती नजर आ रही थी। अब सीधे चलेंगे उत्तर प्रदेश के संबल में, जहां पर एक कुएं की खुदाई हो रही है और उस कुएं के अंदर से 2 खंडित मूर्तियां जो हैं वो मिली हैं। बता दें कि कुएं की खुदाई के दौरान ये बड़ा खुलासा निकलकर सामने आया और कुएं की खुदाई के दौरान मंदिर से 2 जो खंडित मूर्तियां हैं वो यहां पर प्राप्त हुई हैं। अब किस तरीके से कार्रवाई होगी वो देखने वाली बात होगी, लेकिन जो संबल मामला है वो